The path to greatness is often paved with struggles, challenges, and moments of profound uncertainty. You see, in life, there are no shortcuts to success, and there are no easy paths to the dreams you hold in your heart. But when God is preparing to bless you, He doesn't just hand it to you. Instead, He transforms you into the person who can handle the weight of that blessing. And this transformation is often uncomfortable. You will begin to feel like you're being stretched beyond your limits. The things you once held dear might start slipping away. Old patterns will break, relationships will shift, and your world may begin to feel disorienting. But understand this, it is precisely in these moments of discomfort that God is working in you, refining you, and preparing you for what's ahead. When God is about to give you something big, He doesn't just drop it into your lap. No, He prepares you for it. And often, that preparation looks like a season of pruning, of stripping away what's unnecessary in your life so that you can carry the weight of the blessings He's about to pour into your hands. You may not understand it at the time, but the pain, the struggle, the loss, it's all part of the process. Just as a tree needs to be pruned to bear more fruit, you need to go through a process of personal refinement to handle the greatness that is on the way. During this season, you will experience tests of patience, faith, and endurance. You will feel discouraged at times, wondering if the promise of something better is ever going to come to pass. But remember this, God doesn't test you to break you. He tests you to build you. He allows you to go through these challenges because He knows you are capable of overcoming them. He believes in you even when you don't believe in yourself. This period of waiting, of feeling like you're stuck, is not wasted time. God is teaching you the virtues of patience, trust, and reliance on Him. If you think about the greatest stories of success, whether in the Bible or in modern times, you will see a pattern. They are always preceded by a season of waiting, of preparation, and often of hardship. David, before he became king, spent years in the wilderness, being chased by Saul, facing rejection, and yet he was being shaped into a leader who would carry the nation to victory. Joseph was sold into slavery, imprisoned, and forgotten. But all of these challenges were shaping him into the second in command of Egypt. The greatest leaders were not made in times of comfort. They were forged in the fire of adversity. When God is about to give you something big, He will remove certain things and people from your life. You might wonder why certain doors are closing or why opportunities seem to be slipping through your fingers. But in those moments, you must trust that God knows what's best for you. He is removing the distractions, the people who might weigh you down, and the circumstances that could prevent you from walking into the fullness of your destiny. You may feel lonely. You may feel abandoned. But in that solitude, God is preparing you to step into a future that requires your full attention, your full heart, and your full trust. Another sign that God is about to give you something big is when you begin to feel a stirring in your spirit, a desire for something more. This stirring might come as a longing for something greater, something beyond your current circumstances. It's that deep, unshakable knowing that you're meant for more than what you're experiencing right now. And even though you might not know what that more is, you can feel it. You sense the shift. It's like standing on the edge of a new chapter in your life where everything is about to change. That stirring, that discomfort is a sign that God is preparing your heart for His plan. You will also notice that when God is about to give you something big, the things that once satisfied you will no longer have the same impact. What once brought you peace may now feel empty. The things you thought you wanted may begin to lose their appeal because God is preparing you for something that will satisfy your soul in a way nothing else ever could. He's shifting your desires to align with His will for your life. The things that once felt important will fade into the background, and the things that really matter, purpose, passion, calling, will come into sharp focus. In these moments, it's important to hold on to your faith, even when you can't see the outcome. God is a God of timing, and His timing is always perfect. What you may not realize in the moment is that the very struggles you face are preparing you for a greater purpose. They are the training ground for the person you must become in order to handle the greatness He's about to give you. If you can endure this season with patience and trust, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and ready for the blessing that is on the other side. Lastly, when God is about to give you something big, He will give you the strength and wisdom you need, but He will also challenge you to act. Faith without works is dead, and God will require you to take steps forward even when it seems like nothing is happening. This is where your obedience comes in. Step out in faith, even if you don't have all the answers, even if the path ahead is unclear. God will not bless your hesitation, but He will bless your obedience. He honors those who trust in His timing and take action in alignment with His will. So when you are facing difficulty, uncertainty, and discomfort, don't be disheartened. These are signs that God is about to give you something big. Embrace the preparation, trust in the process, and walk boldly into the future that He is preparing for you. His blessings are coming, and when they do, you will be ready to carry them with grace, wisdom, and strength. When God is preparing to bless you with something significant, the journey often begins with a series of challenges, struggles, and hardships. This is not by accident. In fact, it's a crucial part of His divine plan. The process of receiving something big is never smooth or free from difficulty. It's important to understand that during these moments of struggle, God isn't trying to break you down, but rather to build you up in ways that are necessary for the greatness that's ahead. Struggles and discomforts are not signs of divine abandonment. Instead, they are signs of divine preparation, much like an athlete who must endure rigorous training before stepping onto the field, or an artist who spends countless hours honing their craft before showcasing their work. We must be refined through trials before we can truly handle the blessings that God has set before us. These trials, whether they come in the form of personal loss, financial difficulty, relational strife, or personal doubt, are not meant to defeat us. They are meant to shape us into the person we need to become in order to walk in the fullness of God's plan. Just as gold is refined in fire, your character, your strength, and your faith are refined in the fires of life's trials. You may feel the heat of the challenges, and at times it may seem unbearable. But it is in those moments when everything seems impossible that God is molding you into someone who can not only endure, but thrive in the greatness He's preparing for you. The discomfort you feel today is a reflection of the greatness that is just around the corner. Think of it as the pressure that forms diamonds. When you feel like you can't go on, when the weight of the world seems too much to bear, remember this: you are being prepared for something far beyond what you can see right now. The struggles are not random, they are purposeful. They are helping you develop resilience, patience, and perseverance. These are all qualities that you will need when the blessings begin to flow into your life. Many times we want to avoid hardship. We pray for ease, for the smooth road, and for our dreams to come true without the struggle. But if we were to receive everything we want without the preparation, we wouldn't be ready for it. The blessings God has for you require a person who can handle them, and that person is forged through challenges. Without going through the refining process, you wouldn't have the character to sustain the gift. We often look at the end result, the success, the blessings, but forget that those things come with a price. And that price is not measured in money, but in faith, character, and the willingness to endure when things get tough. Moreover, these trials don't just test our strength, they build our faith. When we face challenges that seem insurmountable, it forces us to rely not on our own abilities, but on God's strength and guidance. In the middle of struggle, we learn to trust Him more deeply, to lean on Him when we can't stand on our own. This trust is what prepares us to steward the blessings that He will eventually give us. Without trust, we would squander what He gives, but through the struggles, He teaches us to rely on Him fully, knowing that He is the source of our strength and provision. In every challenge, God is refining you for something bigger. The moment you are in right now, no matter how hard it may seem, is a stepping stone to something great. The discomfort is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that God is building you up. When the blessing finally comes, when the doors open, when the promise is fulfilled, you will be equipped to carry it, to manage it, and to honor God with it in ways you never could have before. So, do not despise the struggle. Do not curse the discomfort. Embrace it, because in the end, you will see that it was all part of the process that has led you to a place where you are more prepared, more capable, and more blessed than you ever imagined. As God prepares to bless you with something extraordinary, He often begins by pruning your life, removing things, people, and situations that no longer align with the purpose He has set before you. You may find that during certain seasons you experience unexpected losses, relationships may fade away, or opportunities you once thought were vital may come to an abrupt end. At first, it can be disheartening. It can feel like you're being abandoned or that you're losing everything. But what if I told you that these changes are not signs of rejection, but rather signs of God's greater plan unfolding? Pruning is a natural and necessary process for growth, Think about a gardener tending to a vine or tree. In order for it to grow stronger, produce more fruit, and flourish, the gardener must carefully cut away the dead or overgrown branches. This doesn't mean the plant is being harmed, it's being prepared for greater fruitfulness. Similarly, God prunes your life to make you stronger and to make room for new growth. The things and people that were once in your life may no longer be able to go with you on the journey to the next level of your destiny. God allows certain things to be removed so that you can receive the new blessings He has in store for you. It's important to recognize that these losses, though painful, are not the end of your story. Instead, they are part of God's strategic plan to make you ready for what's to come. You see, God knows the future in ways we cannot. He sees the opportunities, the challenges, and the people who are destined to be a part of your journey in the next season of your life. Some relationships or situations may have served their purpose, but they are not meant to follow you into the next chapter of your life. As painful as it is, sometimes God has to cut away the things that are holding you back from stepping into your divine purpose. This process isn't about rejection, it's about elevation. Think of the things in your life as baggage. If you're carrying too much weight, you can't move freely, and you certainly can't run your race at the pace you're meant to. Pruning and the removal of distractions are a way for God to lighten your load and make you more focused. It's about clearing your path so that you can move forward with clarity and purpose. The people or circumstances that were once part of your life may no longer serve the vision God has for you. If you are surrounded by the wrong people or trapped in the wrong situations, you can't step into your God-given purpose fully. When God removes something or someone from your life, it's a sign that He is making room for something better. It may be difficult to understand this at first, especially when it feels like you're being left with less than what you had before. But trust that God knows exactly what you need. The relationships, opportunities, or things He's removing were never meant to be permanent fixtures in your life. He has something better for you on the horizon, but first you have to make space for it. Sometimes we hold on to things or people because we fear what's on the other side of letting go. We don't want to face the unknown. But remember, God will never remove something from your life without replacing it with something better. It might not be immediately obvious and it might require time, but the blessings that come after the pruning process are worth the wait. You will discover that what you thought was a loss was actually a divine arrangement, a necessary shift to align you with the greater plan God has for you. God is not in the business of taking things from us just to leave us empty. His plan is always to give us more than we can ask for or imagine. But first, He must remove the excess, the distractions, the dead weight, so that we can fully embrace what He has for us. So, when you find that God is pruning your life, remember, it's a sign that He's preparing you for something greater. It's not about loss, it's about making space for what's coming next. In these seasons of change, let go with trust and faith. Trust that every loss is a gain, every removal is a divine rearrangement. God's purpose for you is far too important for you to stay surrounded by anything that might hinder your growth. Trust in His plan and know that He is creating room in your life for something extraordinary. There will be times in life when the road ahead seems uncertain, when the path you thought you were walking suddenly becomes unclear and the future appears shrouded in fog. In those moments, it's easy to feel lost, confused, or even discouraged. You may find yourself questioning whether you're on the right track or if you're going to make it through the challenges that lie ahead. But I want to remind you of something deeply important. When the path ahead seems unclear, it's essential to place your faith in God's perfect time. You see, God's plan for your life is far bigger, far greater than what you can currently see. It's easy to become consumed by the immediate difficulties, the obstacles, and the uncertainties in front of you. But those are the very things God is using to guide you toward the greater purpose He has designed for you. In the midst of confusion, God's timing is always perfect. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't rush. He doesn't falter. His plan is not only precise, but it's also perfectly tailored to your life and to His divine purpose for you. Trusting in God's timing isn't always easy. We live in a world that values instant results, immediate gratification, and quick fixes. When we want something, we want it now. We don't like waiting, and the longer the wait, the more difficult it can be to maintain our faith. But God's timing doesn't work on our schedule. His ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts. There are moments when it feels like everything is moving slowly and nothing seems to be happening. But I can assure you, God is never idle. He is working even when you don't see it. He is preparing the circumstances, aligning the right people, and setting everything in place for the perfect moment to unfold. The Bible teaches us that God makes everything beautiful in its time. He is the master planner, and he knows the exact moment when things should fall into place. His timing is not random, it's intentional. Think of the story of Joseph in the Bible. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused and thrown into prison. For years, Joseph endured hardship and uncertainty. Yet, through all of it, God's hand was upon him. When the time was right, God elevated him to a position of power, using him to save many lives, including the very brothers who had betrayed him. If Joseph had been elevated sooner, he would not have been prepared to handle the greatness that was coming. God's perfect timing allowed Joseph to be molded, refined, and equipped for the purpose he was called to. Just like Joseph, you may feel like your journey is filled with setbacks, confusion, and times of waiting. You might wonder why things aren't happening faster or why doors seem to be closing when all you want is to move forward. But remember, God's delay is not his denial. He's working behind the scenes, preparing you and refining you. Every moment of waiting is part of his plan to develop your faith, your character, and your strength. The waiting isn't wasted. It's in the waiting that you learn to trust, to depend on him, and to grow into the person you need to be to step into the blessings he has prepared for you. Sometimes it's not just about waiting for God's timing to act on your behalf. It's also about aligning your heart with his timing. Faith is not just about believing in God's power, it's about believing in his timing. It's about understanding that he sees the full picture while you see only a small part. Trusting in God's timing means surrendering your own understanding and trusting that he knows what's best for you. It means having faith that he is never late, never early, but always right on time. I know that it can be difficult to trust when the future is uncertain, but I encourage you today, lean into God's timing. Let go of the need to control every detail. Surrender your fears, your doubts, and your impatience to him, and allow him to lead you. He will guide you through the difficulties, and when the time is right, he will open doors that no man can shut. You may not understand it now, but when you look back, you will see that everything happened exactly as it should have, and you will be grateful for every moment of waiting. God is faithful. His timing is perfect. Trust him to lead you exactly where you need to go. Know that he is preparing you for something beyond what you can imagine, and he will guide you to his purpose step by step at just the right time. In the end, you will realize that his timing was the very thing that made all the difference in your life. There comes a point in every believer's life when they begin to feel a stirring deep within their soul, a longing for something more, something greater than the life they're currently living. This desire isn't born from dissatisfaction with where you are. It's the quiet whisper of God's Spirit inside of you, urging you to step into the fullness of the purpose he has set before you. It's the spark that begins a transformation. This stirring is a sign that God is moving within you, preparing you for something much bigger than you've ever imagined. At first, this desire might feel uncomfortable. It may even feel like a yearning you can't quite explain. You might find yourself restless, not content with the routine or the life you've grown accustomed to. It's as though there's a quiet, persistent voice within you saying, there's more for you than this. You were made for greater things. This is not a desire for earthly wealth, status, or recognition. It's a deeper longing, a spiritual hunger for God's plan to unfold in your life in ways you never expected. God is stirring you because He has something incredible for you to step into. Sometimes when we experience this stirring, we become anxious or impatient. We wonder, why am I feeling this way? Why does it feel like I'm not satisfied with where I am? But what you must understand is that this feeling is a gift. It is God's way of showing you that He is at work in your heart, preparing you for the next chapter in your journey. God has placed a unique calling on your life, and the desire for more is the first step in moving toward it. This stirring often leads to a deep sense of dissatisfaction with mediocrity and complacency. You begin to feel that your life cannot be confined to the limitations of your current circumstances. You may look around and think, I know I was made for more than this. There is more purpose, more passion, more fulfillment waiting for me. That is God preparing your heart for the greater things He has in store. The stirring within you is not a mistake, nor is it a random feeling. It is a divine prompt encouraging you to rise to a new level. But here's the thing, God doesn't stir your heart without a plan. He doesn't give you a longing for more without providing a way to attain it. That desire for greatness, whether it's to grow in your faith, to expand your influence, to serve in a greater capacity, or to achieve something beyond your current reach, is a reflection of the plan He has designed specifically for you. When you feel this stirring, it's time to take action. You are being called to move forward, to let go of the comfort of where you are and step into the unknown, trusting that God will lead you. But there is also a challenge in this stirring, a challenge to rise above the comfort zone that has held you captive for so long. When God begins to stir your heart, it's a sign that He is inviting you into something bigger. He's inviting you to break free from the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. The longing you feel for more is a divine calling to expand your capacity to take bold steps and to rise to new heights. God is calling you to greatness, but it won't be a smooth journey. It will require effort. It will require sacrifice. And it will require a willingness to leave behind the old and step into the new. But I can promise you this, the greater things God has for you are far beyond what you could ever imagine. When He stirs your heart, He is preparing you to see the fulfillment of the dreams and purposes He has planted deep within you. So, if you are feeling that stirring today, that desire for something more, don't ignore it. Don't let it fade away. Lean into it. Embrace it. Let it propel you forward into the life God is calling you to. Know that God is faithful to complete the work He has begun in you. The longing for something greater is a promise that He is leading you to a place of purpose, abundance, and impact that you have not yet seen. Rise to the call, trust in His timing, and step into the greatness He is preparing for you. The best is yet to come. When God is preparing to bless you with something bigger than you could ever imagine, one of the most powerful steps you can take is to walk in obedience and action, even when the path ahead is unclear. This is one of the hardest things for many of us, isn't it? The uncertainty of the future can stir up fear, doubt, and confusion. We want answers. We want to know exactly what's coming and when it will happen. But often, God's plan unfolds step by step, and He asks us to trust Him by moving forward without seeing the full picture. Obedience is not about understanding everything in advance. It's about responding to God's call with a willing heart, even when the future seems uncertain. Think of Abraham. God told him to leave his homeland, to leave everything familiar, and to go to a land that He would show him. Abraham didn't have the full map, didn't have the specifics about where he was going or what awaited him. All he had was God's promise and command to go. And what did Abraham do? He went. He stepped forward in faith, even though he didn't have all the answers. And because of his obedience, God blessed him in ways he could never have imagined. You see, obedience is a key that unlocks God's blessing. God is not looking for perfection or complete understanding. He is looking for willingness. A heart that is ready to trust Him enough to take action, even when we can't see the outcome. This doesn't mean you won't have questions or concerns. It just means that you choose to trust that God knows the way better than you do. His wisdom surpasses yours. His plan is always for your good. even when it's hard to see in the moment. God doesn't always give us the full picture right away. He rarely lays out every detail of the journey before us. Why? Because He wants us to trust Him in the process. He wants to stretch our faith, build our character, and refine our trust in His timing. Obedience without full understanding is a powerful expression of trust in God's sovereignty. The moment you step forward in obedience, you are saying, God, I trust you even when I can't see what's ahead. I trust that you are guiding me, and I know that you will show me the next step when the time is right. Action is equally important. It's not enough to feel a stirring in your heart or to have a sense that God is calling you to something greater. Faith requires action. Faith without works is dead, James 2:26. Obedience to God isn't passive. It's not just waiting for something to happen. It's actively moving in the direction God is calling you to go, even when you don't have every detail figured out. The action step is about trusting that each small movement forward will lead you closer to the destiny He has prepared for you. Think about the story of Peter walking on water. When Jesus called him to come out of the boat, Peter didn't wait for the waters to calm down. He didn't wait for the circumstances to align perfectly. He stepped out in obedience, walking toward Jesus in the midst of the storm. And as long as his eyes were fixed on Jesus, he walked in faith. But the moment he let fear take over, he began to sink. God is calling you to step out of the boat and walk toward the greater things He has for you, even when the waters are rough, even when the future is unclear. Your obedience and your action will determine whether you experience the miracle of walking in faith or the fear of sinking into doubt. When God calls you to something bigger, He will not always give you the entire blueprint up front. He may give you just enough for the next step, and it's up to you to trust Him with the rest. Your willingness to obey, even without knowing all the details, is the act of faith that unlocks God's blessing. God will never call you to take a step in the wrong direction. If He is calling you to move, He will always provide the way, the strength, and the guidance you need to keep moving forward. And then here's the beautiful part. God blesses your willingness to act. When you step forward in obedience, even when you don't have all the answers, He sees your faith and your trust in Him, and He will bless that. Your obedience is a seed that will grow into something far greater than you can imagine. It's a promise that God will meet you in the midst of your faithfulness, guiding you, strengthening you, and open doors that only He can open. God is not asking you to have everything figured out before you take the first step. He is asking you to trust Him enough to move, to act, and to obey. He is asking you to rise in faith, to step out in courage, and to follow His leading, knowing that as you do, He will be faithful to fulfill His promises and bless your obedience. So take the step. Don't wait for all the answers. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Step out in faith and obedience and watch how God works in your life, leading you to something far greater than you ever imagined. The future is in His hands, and He will guide you every step of the way.